where
chats, and then the environment was cleaned up.
The first time I was hearing about this stuff, it was totally new to me.
With social impact consulting. Hello everyone, my name is Emmanuel Echa with Social Impact Consulting. I'm a development consultant with 20 years of experience working with NGOs, international NGOs, and bilateral agencies to work in project support, monitoring and evaluation, and civil society strengthening. So now, I saw that local NGOs lack the capacity to manage large-scale projects, which can in turn impact their various communities because they have the connection based on their backgrounds. So this made me create this channel so that I can add value to you for free once you subscribe to this channel and get notified of upcoming videos. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for watching the Development Sector Series, which is Dev Sector Series. Are you interested in sponsoring Dev Sector Series? Please call me at 234-703-539-8086. As we spread your brand, we spread around the world. And as we do that, we are all changing the world. So let's work together. Contact me so that we can maximize social impact. I look forward to hearing from you. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of the Development Sector Series, which is Dev Sector Series. Make sure you like and share this live streaming so that we get this to more people, okay? This helps the algorithm to share with more folks. In addition, let me know where you're watching from so that I can thank you personally on all three platforms. So those of you on YouTube, please subscribe, click on the bell notification so you can be notified of future streaming videos from me. On Facebook, I think there's a part below the live streaming that says, click here to be notified when they're going live. So Facebook can notify you in the future when I go live. Now, today we're going to be having an interesting discussion. We're going to be talking about elections. Now, we just concluded the Anambra State elections and would like to just emphasize the role of the development sector and civil society organizations in our democracy. In the last Anambra gubernatorial election, I actually produced a documentary on the Anambra elections. So sometime after this Dev Sector series, I will stream that on the platform. So yeah, you guys can take a look at some of the work that I did. So this platform is discussing the development sector, working through the process of our independent and our nonpartisan role in the process of the elections, and how we're providing civic participation and engagement. So I was trying to look for a civic leader, especially in the southeastern region of Nigeria, that is actually working on elections, actually is a respected person in civil society out there. And, just asked around with my colleagues, and, Mr. Emmanuel Echa was introduced to me. So I'm excited about our conversation. So I guess today is a civil society leader in Enugu State. He is the executive director of Entrepreneurship Initiative for African Youth. He was very active in the Anambra State election. He is a certified election observer and will provide us an overview on the elections of the state and, figure out how we as a country can get ready for the 2023 election. So what I'm going to do right now is go over his video bio before we get started. All right. Hi, Nadia Ali Aladib. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Thank you so much for joining me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much. Okay, so let me share his. Well, Echa is an Enugu-based development expert with specialties on human rights activism, democratic governance elections, policy advocacy, inclusive and sustainable economic development. Emmanuel is the Executive Director of Entrepreneurship Initiative for African Youth, EIFAY Africa, a nonprofit organization operating from Enugu, Nigeria. He is a renowned activist, leading the civil society groups such as the Action Group on Free Civic Space as the regional coordinator and chairing the Enugu State network of civil society organization, ENSNET. Emmanuel is a member of the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room hosted by PLAC Abuja. He also sits at the Civil Society Advisory Group, CSAG, of the EU Act program representing the Southeast Geopolitical Zone in the board. Allow me to introduce to some and present to others Emmanuel Echa. Hello, Emmanuel. How are you doing? Good to see you.
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for having me today.
Okay, good. You came highly recommended by Victoria, so I'm looking forward to an awesome discussion. Okay.
Oh, thank you, and thanks to Victoria anyway.
Because Victoria is a friend of Devsectorseries, and you know, she's she's such a blessing. So thank you so much for even taking time to join us today.
Oh,
So,
great. Thank you.
You know, with elections.
Hello, if I can hear you.
Hello. Hello, Emmanuel. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone.
Hey. So we're just gonna get started with the questions, okay? Um,
Okay.
my question to you now is: the sector been thriving? Oh, just a second. Sorry. How does the election observation process run in Nigeria?
Well, thank you so much, everyone, once again for having me in this show. Of course, I've been introduced, no need of introducing myself again. So, but my name is Emmanuel Echa. I'm a comrade, a civil society person, activist based in Enugu. Yes, we are talking about the election observation process in Nigeria. You know, I often say this, the best time to start planning for the next election is a day after the current election. So we are using Anambra State as an example, for instance. The best time to start planning for the Anambra election in 2025 is to start today. It actually should start today, which is the day after the conclusion of the Anambra election, which was yesterday. Of course, you are aware about the Ihiala supplementary election that occurred yesterday, that actually culminated to the apex of the election that happened in Anambra recently. So why am I saying that? Because the process that involved with election, it has to take a long time. It has to be planned a way long term because there are a lot of activities, there are a lot of engagement that has to ensure within this period. So now, beaming it out to election observation process in Nigeria, of course, there are a lot of things that played out before election. The actual election happened in the election day proper. This is talking about based on the timetable of the INEC timetable. Mm-hmm. First of all, it's there should be a kind of a notice for an election. Of course, after that notice for an election, there's supposed to be a collection of forms. They call it Form EC9, which is actually those candidates that want to actually participate as candidates representing their different political parties. Of course, you know that Nigeria runs a party democracy, so they have to express their interest. There's a form, they will fill that form. So there's also, of course, the aspect of conducting the party primaries. So from then we have the submission of course, the form for the candidates that were nominated by the political parties. Then from there we talked about publication of personal particulars of the candidates by the commission, by the INEC itself, the electoral management body. Of course, followed by the last day for withdrawal by candidates or replacement of withdrawn candidates by the parties. Then we have the last day for submission of nomination forms. Of course, we have the commencement of campaigns by the political parties in public. Of course, we have the publication of official register of voters. Then we have the publication of final list of nominated candidates by the commission. Then we have, of course, publication of notice of poll by the commission. Of course, the last day for submission of names of party agents, that is the poll agent. Of course, the last but not the least, of which is the last day for the campaign, which is the day before the election, and of course the election proper. So these are the processes that are involved in elections in Nigeria. And in all these processes, in each of these processes or activities that happened, it presents opportunity for the observer group, the civil society, to observe the process, to follow through the process, to observe and to discover whether this process that being engaged on is in line with the constitutional, the Electoral Act, with the Electoral Amendment Act. So the role of the civil society is to actually to monitor the process, to of course to in compliance with the relevant laws, and of course to bring of course question the accountability. Yes, to that extent, because civil society can also take has the right to take violators of electoral acts to yes, for litigation. They can take them to court and challenge the process, because it's part of adding to the credibility of the process. Of course, the overall role of the society organization is, of course, the aspect of deepening democracy in the country, and of course to ensure credibility of the process in the elections. So that is basically the process that are involved in election observation in the country. Yes.
Okay, so that's why you notice, like, a lot of times some civil society groups like the Situation Room, Watching the Vote, and other CDD West Africa, you guys bring out you know, pretty much communicate to the public in terms of whether or not everything has been done, it's been transparent, and everything has been done according to the Electoral Act. And
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yes.
That was quite an overview. Thanks for that.
Yes. Thank you.
So So specific to Anambra State, how did the
Yes.
process go? Was it the way it needed to go, or were there some discrepancies? I've been monitoring it, but I wanted to just get your take.
Well, the way Anambra election went, of course, it's the Anambra election also went through the same process that's involved in other elections too, in the sense that all the processes that I listed before now, uh, the Anambra elections went through that process. And where there are some inconsistencies, of course, some actors, could be political party, could be the commission, try to challenge these things and until things are done in a normal way. So it is the same process that the Anambra election went through. And it actually went through well. Like I said, where there are some inconsistencies or where there are violation of the Electoral Act, or where there's any party that violated the Electoral Act, things they have been recalled back. They have been told what to do, and of course, using the instrumentality of the judiciary and the other, what they call it, conflict mediation or resolution process to make sure that they fall in line with the relevant laws.
Okay, okay. So, based on what you've seen, do you think the judiciary is in the right place to be able to address some of these irregularities?
Well, the role of the judiciary is to interpret the law. And that cannot be taken away from them in terms of when there are some certain people that maybe violate the extant laws, and of course, it's the duty of the judiciary to be able to intervene, of course, to be able to address some certain stuff. So in their own capacity, in their own responsibility as judiciary. So I have no doubt with that. Of course, they play their role very strongly, and it adds to the outcome of what we have today as the success story of Anambra elections. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we have a winner declared already. So it looks like we're transitioning to post-election and lessons learned and what have you. So, so based on your
Yeah.
observation, because one of the reasons why I had wanted to speak to you, because you are on ground, do you think that it was a peaceful
Yeah.
election? There has been a lot of unrest in the southeastern region of Nigeria. Um, different fractions and everything, which is not the subject of our discussion. But in general, do you think that the election was peaceful?
FY, I can confirm to you right now that as an accredited observer in the Anambra elections, I am a witness. So the election was, I judge, the most peaceful election in the history of the Eastern region. I can say that and say that again. Of course, you know that before the elections, a lot of parameters, a lot of things that have happened, and a lot of course, insecurity challenges that has happened, like you rightly said, that would have caused some form of the public expectation is that this election is going to be mad with violence and all that. So, but to the surprise of everyone, the Anambra election became one of the most peaceful elections, in the history of the Eastern region and the country at large, Nigeria at large. Of course, being adjudged by the civil society groups, different society groups, observer groups have been able to come up with this statement recognizing the peaceful nature or the peaceful outcome of the Anambra election. So it's a very big positive to the side of the Anambra and, of course, to the side of the country at large. And I attributed this peaceful outcome to some certain group of persons. For instance, I said that the peaceful nature of the the Anambra actually played out because if you look at the elections, of course, we know what have been happening in Igbo land because as a result of the agitations and how government has been engaging with the agitators and the agitation groups, and how the insecurity has become a very big challenge in this. So, of course, we know that South is not the only zone in this issues of the insecurity in the country, but the peculiarity of our own, of the ones in Southeast is the issue of, we are talking about the agitation for the, of course, for self, they are talking about the agitation for self-determination. So, and how government has been responding to this and all that, and to the extent of, you know, in the eye of an external observer, could be that maybe these people are troublemakers, the Igbo people are troublemakers and they are not peaceful and all that. But Anambra has really the Anambra people in this election has really demonstrated that they are peaceful people. And they not that extent to not just Anambra, the entire Igbo people. We are people of that people that believe in non-violence, that will believe in peaceful nature, and that can be attributed to that. And also the agitation group too actually surprised me in the sense that you know, I see that they actually listen to the voice of the people. I was one of the persons that when IPOB were like when they declared the sit at home, the 6-day sit at home that had to stretch through the election day and all that, I was I was one of the persons that engaged them to be able to look for another means, better means to address their agitations. As it is now, there are better approaches to addressing that. Trying to addressing your agitation demands. For the fact that you are coming in to stop the election from happening, that is a no-no. Is a no-no to some of us that see beyond just declaring or try to use violent means to agitate for your right and right to self-determination and all that. So I think IPOB were able to use those calls by stakeholders to be able to see how they can cancel the sit-at-home order. They used to that, and it also is a very good poster for the IPOB for the agitation group on that, because being that they're now listening to the voice of the people, they're now listening to the voice of the stakeholders. So trying to encourage them to do the right thing. So, and also the peaceful outcome of the Anambra election can also be attributed to the professional conduct of the security agencies, of course, during the election. So if the way they conducted themselves was very encouraging. In fact, this is my first time of seeing Nigerian security agencies, especially the police people, you know, of course, in the atmosphere of fear of insecurity, the way they have been able to reason and conduct themselves in a professional manner. So it's kudos to them too. So that is those are the people I need to recognize in this. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so that even transitions to my next question. You just you already touched on it. What contributed to the current outcome of the election, which was, you said, it's the most peaceful election that has happened in the Southeast so far, and
Yes.
it was attributed to the fact that the you know, the IPOB group, they called down the you know, the sit-at-home order, which enabled people to go out and vote, in addition to the conduct of the security agencies. Is there anything else you want to add in terms of what contributed to the peaceful outcome of the election?
Well, I would have attributed some of the, I would have praised the electoral management body, the INEC, but there seems to be, you know, little bit as in they disappointed the public to some extent,
Okay.
because I don't really know what actually led to that, because before the election proper, INEC has given us the general view of their preparedness, how they are prepared for the elections in terms of logistics, in terms of course, the deployment of the new technology called the BVAS, biometric voter accreditation system, which was tested in the Isoko South State constituency elections. I think that was about 2 months ago. And the success was in that election, actually, it was okay, because that was the first testing. That was the first deployment, even though there were some hitches, technical hitches. But it recorded a very good success. So we were thinking, the public was thinking that INEC would build from the success story of that Isoko South State constituency elections, what they did there, and get the beavers fell. The success of the elections to INEC per se, because of they really failed. They really failed in that aspect.
Okay, so in terms of logistics, INEC, but it was there because I think the ongoing statements I've been hearing, especially as a member of civil society myself, is with INEC is logistics in terms of getting things to the polling units on time and getting
Yes.
everything set up,
Yes.
accreditation and some of those irregularities.
Yes.
What do you think they can do to make sure that they have things together? Because another thing, I think I was in my last Deaf Sector series with Samson Itodo, he mentioned that sometimes it even comes from the federal level where they are not giving them the money on time to actually deploy some of the things that they need logistically in the polling units. So is there anything else they can do to make sure that maybe in the Ekiti or Osun election it's a lot smoother?
Well, I believe that problem known is half solved. So INEC knows that they have been it sort of consistently they have been having challenges with respect to their logistics. And I know that before every elections, INEC has a lot of plannings with respect to logistics. They have budget for that. They have a lot of they have a lot of engagement or commitment to ensuring that logistical plans are perfectly executed. So, but I think what INEC has been able to or is really doing is, and this have been expressed in their rhetorics. You hear that some of the media will be asking INEC, how prepared are you? Maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks to the elections and all that. They will ask them, how prepared are you? And INEC will tell you that they are very prepared, or they are 100% prepared. So, but when it comes to reality, translating this preparedness of operations into this thing, it becomes a very big challenge. They know the problem, so solutions to the problem, because it's already known, doesn't have to be an issue. Set your logistics right. Make sure that you implement to the letter. I know that of course there can be some minor, there can be some minor exigencies that may occur, in the management of logistics and election itself. So, but it shouldn't override it shouldn't reflect in the outcome of the election, because those are minor things. Those are minor challenges that you could address within yourselves and all that. It shouldn't reflect that doesn't necessarily need to reflect in the general outcome of the elections. So, okay, the issue of BVAS is a new technology. We are talking about electronic voting. Do you understand me? So, and my thoughts on this is that BVAS is a clear-cut evidence to show that, of course, to show the readiness of the country to migrate or transition into electronic voting. So, but in a situation whereby you are giving us this, the INEC is giving us this this concern. So it actually threatens the need for us to actually come up with electronic voting. But God forbid that, because everybody has seen it that what INEC need to do is just to put its house in order and see how the country is ready for electronic voting. So we are very much ready. The people are ready. Everybody is ready. Just INEC to build their capacity and also to improve in the way they manage the election, especially as related to logistical issues.
I see. So, aside from INEC and some of the irregularities that happened with INEC, is there anything else you want to add that contributed to the outcomes? You said the security agencies behaved. What about the political candidates? Were they, in terms of their supporters, were things smooth over there? Like how was the climate there in terms of the polling units?
Yes, I think when it comes to recognizing the role of others in these elections and how they have performed creditably well in ensuring a peaceful atmosphere or the outcome of these elections. The political parties are not being left behind, of course.
Okay.
I recognize their role. Civil society actually recognize their role too, even though, of course, in the political party, they are actually the one that, of course, control the dynamics of politics on elections and all that. So there are some kind of irregularities that may occur as a result of trying to assert their political rights. So now, yes, the political parties actually did very well. They did very well. It's just that there are some instances that may occur that, of course, they might try to tilt away from the provisions of the law, the Electoral Act, and of course, INEC can tap them on the back and of course recall them to do the right thing, to bring them back to do the right thing. I can remember the cases of of course, the present governor-elect, what is Charles, Professor Charles Soludo. Yes, and there was a time INEC has to suspend his candidacy. So, and at time going on, so I think when they did the right thing, they have to bring him back as one of the candidates. And today we have him as the elected governor of Anambra State. So those are the things that happen. But in terms of the party members, of course, I didn't see much of pre-election violence or sort of that. Maybe this party attacked this party, apart from rhetorics, of course, and not the hate speech is there. Of course, during the election debates, you heard what happened between the APGA candidate then, and of course the APC candidate was Andiova. So where they were attacking each other, verbally and all that, instead of sticking to the issues, what they have for them, the Anambra people. Exactly. So those are the things that happened within that. So, but they also political party as a political party, they play their own part to ensuring the peaceful outcome of the election. Yes.
Okay. So can we attribute some of it to the voter education movement by civil society organizations? Various civil society organizations in terms of going into the states and then providing some voter education. I know there was Vote Not Fight, and I'm sure there were many others as well. So can we say that contributed to it as well, or you felt that the atmosphere just kind of took its course?
No, in fact, the success of this, I can say that 50% or 50 to 60% of the success of Anambra election should be attributed to the civil society community for their dogged role, resilient role in these elections, even amidst the insecurity challenge in the zone and also in the particularly in the Anambra State. I can remember, of course, what we should understand is that, like I said, made mention of before, the role of civil society in deepening democracy and ensuring the credibility of the electoral process cannot be undermined. So, and in this aspect of Anambra elections, civil society actually contributed strongly to ensuring that this election coming peacefully. Yes, you talked about the issue of mobilizing citizens to be able to participate in the process, which is aspect of deepening the democracy in the country. Civil society really did that, especially during the CVR, the continuous voter registration exercise for the Anambra election, where the mobilized citizens, you made mention of then the Nigerian Civil Society situation room, of course, hosted by PLAC. The YAGA is there. We have an election monitor. There are a lot of organizations that actually play a very you know a very strong role in these elections, and also the local civic groups, the local civic actors in the states and in the region too. I can talk about myself anyway. I know what I did, what I contributed in the in my own capacity as a civil society person in the zone, engaging different actors to make sure that the Anambra election come in very peacefully. So yes, I can give that credit to civil society.
Thank you so much. So now we had a peaceful election in Anambra State. There were many stakeholders involved in that process, including the political parties, civil society, the local civic groups, and then also you said that even with IPOB making sure that they rescinded the sit down order also played its role. So now we're trying to see how we can move forward as we go towards 2023. And guys, folks in the comments, if you have any questions, if you have any comments that will contribute to this discussion, please put it down in the comment section, folks on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, okay? All right, I look forward to your comments and questions. So here the next question is this. So how do you think this outcome is going to contribute to the national election? Folks may say this is a gubernatorial election. It's a bit more insulated to that state. With the national election, it's a whole new kettle of fish. What do you say to that? Do you think the outcome of this election can say something to how we're going to be looking in 2023?
Yes, obviously it can. Of course, there are several great lessons to learn from these Anambra State elections, which can benefit the national elections in 2023. Not just even the national elections, that the remaining off-cycle elections, of course, the Osun election and the Ekiti election that are coming up following the Anambra elections. Before we're even talking about the national elections. So there's still a lot of great lessons to learn from what has happened in Anambra recently. So yes, amidst the security challenges or turbulent challenging the country today, one of the things that we should understand that the federal government should not undermine the strong role of the civil society in achieving credible, peaceful, free and fair elections in Nigeria. So there's a need to recognize the strong role of the civil society groups or civil society organizations in ensuring that as we plan towards 2023 elections, the national elections, the civil society has to come on board to play their role as the mediator, as peace advocates, to be able to ensure that just like the way they did in Anambra, to replicate the same method for the national elections. I believe that if they do that, there's so lots we can achieve in terms of the outcome of the peaceful outcome of the national election, which is coming up 2023. So government should support civil society groups and of course the actors to mediate on issues that may play as a big threat to the forthcoming elections, such as demonstrated in Anambra elections. I think that is what I have to say on that. There's need to support civil society instead of shrinking the civic space. They should support civil society. Yes, they should support them to be able to address these issues, because civil society, like I keep saying, they play a very strategic and very strong and very important role in Nigeria elections. So that is my contribution on that actually.
Okay. So it's really something that you say that, because with our government, in terms of making sure that we have a peaceful election, we have to involve civil society. And because if you're involved in civil society, then you're able to, you know, engage and figure out how we are able to get a peaceful election, because civil society organizations are in all 6 geopolitical zones. We are everywhere, full of founders and executive directors that care about their community, their city, their state, and their region. And the shrinking of the civic space, it's a big hot topic and it's a big issue. Just letting the world know and letting our countrymen know that civil society organizations are the platforms that people can use to engage with stakeholders. And you know, because of the various rhetorics that are being brought up about civil society organizations, oh, you're getting money from abroad, oh, you're getting money from abroad, and then you're just keeping the money and you're just doing whatever. Just like any other sector, there are bad banks, there are bad insurance companies, there are bad churches, there are bad mosques. So there are some bad organizations, but it does not make everybody that, which is proof in the Anambra election. You get what I'm saying? So when we're trying to do
Exactly.
constitutional amendment, civil society organizations from everywhere came to testify. So this is just that's another reason why I'm doing this, Emmanuel, is that we're talking about elections, we're talking about democracy, and civil society organizations play a key role in the process. And thank you so much for the work that you do. Guys, any
Thank you.
comments, any questions, please comment section, okay? So now I have one more question for you. So, do you think we're ready for 2023? And if we are, great. If we are not, you have been an accredited observer for a while. You've observed elections, so it's not a case of asking a novice this kind of question. So, what do you think needs to be in place to make sure that we're ready for 2023? You said there was an electoral act amendment. Great. How do we? How did it look in Anambra? How can it be disseminated around the country for our national election? How can what needs to be in place for us to be ready for 2023 for a free, fair, and credible election?
Well, FIU, you actually want me to sound like INEC.
When
I
I
think,
interview INEC,
and
I'll just mirror the interview and
and I
have you
don't think
listen to it.
I have that capacity, that knowledge to to say that. But that's okay. Well,
Mm,
we are talking about readiness, our readiness to, of course, the election. The way whether we think whether we are ready for the 2023 national elections.
yes.
Well, I want to look it from different lens actually. So
Okay.
one is that looking from the lens of the people,
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians, the citizens. I think based on that, because I'm in that constituency, a civil society person. So I can say that, of course, we are ever ready. One thing we should understand is that elections are mandatory cycle in a democratic society. So we know that, okay, 2023 election is coming. We had a 2019 elections. Then we know that we are going to have 2023 elections. We know that we are going to have election in 2027, you know, if Christ tarries. So, and this has been built in the minds of the people that, okay, this year, this event is going to happen. So that readiness is there already. We are ready as citizens, as people, that election is going to happen this year. This is a democrat, like I say, it's a mandatory democratic cycle, you know, that we must hold this election, that this event has to occur. So that is on the side of the people. Then on the side of the INEC, like I said, I don't want to, I don't want you to take over the role of INEC. But based on the observation that we've seen, of course, in terms of, like I made mention of, in terms of logistics, deployment of logistics and other things that contribute to ensuring credible elections. I think INEC should be a little bit forthcoming, should improve we need INEC to improve in terms of their election logistic management and all those aspects that, of course, that challenges the commission in terms of or brings a hitch in terms of the conduct of the elections in the country. So the 2023 election is a big election, and we're talking about national elections here. So, and we don't want we don't want the country to fail in that aspect. We don't want the commission to fail for the country in that aspect. So, and we really want them to be able to ensure that they put their house in order and put everything in place to ensure that the elections in 2023 becomes not, they shouldn't replicate on the aspect of INEC, they shouldn't replicate what happened in Anambra for the 2023 general elections. So that is for the INEC. Then for the security agencies, like I made mention before, I sound a little bit impressed. Yes, I'm a little bit impressed with the conduct of the professional conduct of the security agencies in these Anambra elections. I think from what I'm observing, the Nigerian security agencies are beginning now to hearken to the words to the advices of the citizens, of the civil society groups in terms of ensuring that this is election, even the aspect of militarization of elections in the country, to curtail on these issues and see how they can conduct themselves professionally in the management of in their role or in their duty on election period of time. So, like I said, I'm so impressed about what's laid out in the last election. You see that less of, you walk up to a polling unit, you see, of course, police people there attending to people professionally. If there's some concerns, they would like to calm the nerves, they like to. So that is amazing. That is really amazing. And it also shows that the interagency consultative committee on election security, which is hosted by INEC, is actually they have done a very good job, you know, in this election in Anambra. So I give kudos to them. Then, of course, the issue of from the lens of the federal government itself, I think federal government should find a means before 2023 elections. We are looking forward to federal government coming up with a plan or coming up with an intervention to be able to dialogue with these aggrieved groups and agitation groups to be able to see how we can use non-violent approach to, yes, they have the right, everybody has the right to, you know, to agitate or to be aggrieved. Let me use that word, to be aggrieved inside, because Nigeria is really give a lot of people reasons to be aggrieved. So they have the reason to, they have the reason to express themselves in that angle. But it all boils down to how government engages with these aggrieved groups and citizens. So, and that is why we are talking about, I think government should find a better way of using a non-violent approach to address this issue. It could be dialogue. It could be dialogue. Yes, if we make that demand during the situation rules press statement prior to the election, we made a demand that federal government should dialogue with IPOB, and I don't know what might happen behind the scene. I don't know whether the federal government actually implemented that recommendations from the situation room or not. But it's one good way to follow about this, that the use of kinetic, the use of violence, because one thing about violence is that violence begets violence. So you don't just use violence to quench agitations. You can go to the round table and talk about these issues and see how we can have a rallying point on this. So that is my take.
Okay, because like you said, if government has dialogues with various factions, including IPOB, and IPOB is just one of various other groups. So if we're talking about a national election, they have to start early so that there's a peaceful election. But you did commend the conduct of the security agencies and in the Anambra election, and if that can be replicated, that would be great. and the key role of civil society organizations in that process cannot be ignored. Okay, so what I am going to do to get now is your final thoughts.
Okay, my final thoughts on this. Um, of course, my final thought is based on the lessons learned from Anambra and how we can use these lessons learned as a country, of course, to ensure that subsequent elections we replicate this success in the subsequent election that we'll have in the country. I think the Anambra State election has presented an amazing opportunity for Nigeria and, of course, the Nigerian government to reflect on the way to engage with aggrieved groups in the country. So I think that's my final note on that. If we should be able to take advantage of this success that has been recorded in Anambra and see how we can replicate it in subsequent elections and, of course, build up to the 2023 elections. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. This was an excellent conversation as a getting firsthand information from an observer in the Anambra state elections and getting a sense of how that reflects to other gubernatorial elections, moving forward and leading up to the national elections. So thank you so much, Emmanuel, for your time.
I so much appreciate it. I so much appreciate. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All right. So we had a great interview with Emmanuel Echa, talking about about the Anambra elections, the reflections from the elections, the role that civil society organizations play and various other groups. So it was an excellent, excellent, excellent interview. So I hope you all enjoyed it. So just a few announcements, just a second, just a few announcements. Just a few announcements here. So if you like this interview, guys, please click like and share so that we can get this information out to as many people. You get what I'm saying? Those of you who are my top fans and are saying, what can we do to help? Liking and sharing would be a start. Thank you so much. So we're having a grant writing workshop here in Abuja, November 25th to the 26th, 2021. If you're interested, please let me know. If you also need a consultation on how to start and run an organization, or you need some training, you need some advisory, let me know. My number is there on the screen going down 0703-539-8086 on WhatsApp, okay? If you're on Facebook here on this live broadcast, click on the notification to be notified when we go live, okay? That would be really helpful. That would be really, really helpful, guys. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support, and let us change the world together, okay? Take care. Bye.